All right, in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can glue your drums together, your percussion elements together, and really make them pop using parallel compression. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and play my drums right now so you can take a listen what they sound like currently. Here's just the drum section of my track. And the elements we're going to be working with are just the percussion elements, so taking away the kick. And this is just a little tip in advance, is that what I like to do is I like to separate my kick and just leave the kick all by itself, because the thing is, if you grab a good kick, you shouldn't really have to do anything to it. And also, if you have your kick separate from your other percussion elements, it's going to allow you to do things like compress and EQ or other elements without having that kick in there, because your kick is the loudest element of your track and it's kind of thumping through. And so if you have a compressor on like a big drum group and you have a kick in there, it's going to make it more difficult for you to just compress the other percussive elements of the track when that kick's in there. So I personally just like to separate all of my other percussion elements outside and leave the kick all on its own. And so I've got these percussive elements here, or this percussion group. And a way that I can kind of glue these together and kind of add more punch and also kind of add a little bit of a high-end sheen, which I'm going to show you in a second, is like by doing this. So I'm going to grab a glue compressor and I'm going to do Control G, which puts this into an audio effect rack. We're going to be doing some parallel compression here. And then I'm going to go right here, and then we're going to go ahead and create a chain. And just to make it a little bit easier, you can do Control R, rename, and then just label it dry. Now this is the dry signal. So if I play this, you're going to hear that the signal sort of doubled up and got much louder, because now there's two chains of the percussion element signal. So if I turn this off, see it's a little bit quieter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead to this glue compressor. I'm just going to go ahead and solo this, and I'm going to dial it in. I'm going to make a really fast attack time. I'm going to do some really heavy compression. I'm going to go ahead and do a 10-to-1 ratio and just really make this aggressive, and then go ahead and do like a fast release. I'm going to add some makeup gain. And now let's go ahead and just turn off and on to hear what we did. Now the purpose of parallel compression, the reason you want a fast attack is because we want to actually slam those transients, because the uncompressed version still has those transients. And then when we blend the two together, we can have the benefit of keeping the transients from the uncompressed signal, and then adding in that really compressed version and going to get the best of both worlds. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight both of these and then just turn them down a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and match the volume here. I'm going to turn this off and see what it sounds. Let's turn it back on. It got a little bit louder, so I'm going to go ahead and just turn it a little bit down. So now now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and blend these in together. I'm going to go ahead and I want the compressed version just to be a little bit like this, maybe slightly louder. Now I'm going to go back and forth. So you can already hear the compression, what it's doing. It's add a little bit of that punch, and it's also kind of making the elements sound like they're slightly closer together. That glue effect. And then now let's go ahead and go back and forth. Here's with no compression. And now what we can do, I kind of like where that's at. There was just a little bit of volume that I added. Let's Turn it down a little bit just to really make sure we're matching here. One thing we can do as well, and so honestly, I know that's subtle, but that is making a difference. And I'm not going to take a long time to dial it in now for the sake of brevity for this video. However, you can go ahead and you can dial in and you can actually add things to the chain that has the compressor on it. And so we can actually make this New York style compression by adding some EQ8 afterwards. And normally it would look something like this. However, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm not compressing anything down here. So I'm just going to raise this EQ, kind of add more high end to the compressed, and then blend that in. So go ahead and take a listen. So we went ahead and added kind of a nice high end sheen to the overall drum group. So if I solo it, now I solo the dry group. Put them together. And then now let's go back and forth one last time to hear what we did. This is the compression off. Now compression on. And now if you want to go ahead and hear with the kick. Now keep in mind, I am adding a little bit of volume to those elements, and so that might tie into why it sounds a little bit better. But I added that nice high end, that compression, make it glue them together, make them nice and punchy, added that nice high end, and overall just sounds a lot better in my opinion. Now if I go ahead and turn everything else on, and it sounds something like that, okay? So just a quick little parallel compression trick to help you glue those drums together. And if you like this video, go ahead and look in the description below, and I have my full compression masterclass course. It's only $29, like a special offer I'm doing right now. It's only $29 and I go deep. It's about a 5-hour course where I go deep and I do all sorts of different type of compression where by the end of it, you'll know how, when, and why to use compression. So make sure you look in the description below for that, and I'll see you guys again next time.